The last time I went to the grocery store, I picked up some English muffins that were on sale. See? And ever since then, I've been pretty obsessed with making poached egg sandwiches. And then I realized I never really shared that with you. So that's why I wanted to make them for you today. And they're the perfect breakfast to make when you have a little more time in the morning, but they're also easy, so you can just make them any day of the week. So if you want to know how to make these somewhat fancy but simple sandwiches, then come on, grab your English muffins and I'll show you how to make these. The English muffins just came out of the toaster, so while they're still piping hot, I gotta just use a garlic clove and I just cut the tip off of it. And I'm just going to rub it along the nooks and crannies of the English muffin, so the rough cut parts. And this is gonna, oh my gosh, it smells amazing. It's just gonna make it taste like exactly like garlic bread with little effort. The ingredients couldn't be more simple for this recipe. All you're gonna need for it is tomato, goat cheese, eggs, English muffins, garlic, arugula, salt, pepper, and vinegar. Some people don't believe me that this imparts so much flavor, but it really does, especially with an English muffin because it's so rough and coarse. Look at that, it just pretty much ate my garlic clove. So do not skip this step. And let me just get this out of the way because every time I get a new cut or a burn on my hand, it seems like you guys seem to notice. So I'm just gonna let you know this is a burn and this is a cut and we're all good, okay? I really appreciate your concerns in the comments. Now, I have some goat cheese that I left out at room temperature so it would get a little bit softer. So I'm gonna use roughly 2 ounces. Now, if you don't have goat cheese or you don't like it, you can just switch it up with any other kind of pungent but soft cheese. So I would say even cream cheese works, or you could do feta cheese. Anytime I spread anything on bread, I love to take the time to just make sure you get all the way to the edges. Actually, I get this from Joe. Sometimes he puts peanut butter on toast and it's like just in the middle. And I'm like, what about the edges? Then I have 1 tomato that I just sliced into thick slices, so about 4 slices. I'm just gonna place 1 big slice of tomato on the top. And I want this nice and thick because this is essentially gonna be a vegetarian sandwich. Not vegan, but vegetarian. You want this to have a little meatiness to it, and that's gonna come from the tomato. And then every layer needs to have seasoning. Some people forget to put salt on their tomatoes, especially inside of sandwiches. This just makes the tomato flavor come out more. Pepper. And then arugula. So this is just plain old arugula. You might see a theme here because I love arugula. I try to squeeze it in just like kale in almost every one of my recipes. It's like arugula or kale, which one is she gonna use today? The good thing about arugula is that even if it gets warmed up by the heat of the egg and mixes with the yolk, it's still perfect because you can eat arugula hot or cold. The last thing we're gonna do is crack some eggs into 2 little teacups. So we're gonna crack 2 eggs into each of the cups. Definitely make sure you don't pop that yolk. I'm just gonna wash my hands and head over to the stove. I feel like everyone has their own personal way of poaching eggs, and I used to do it differently too. I learned in culinary school to have this like big tall pot, create a whirlpool and swirl the eggs in and stir it around, and it was just like a hit or miss, honestly, frankly. So I started switching over to this style. So what I do is I grab a skillet, so something shallow, and I just fill it all the way to the rim, as high as it can go without overflowing. And then I'm gonna add in some seasoning, so that's gonna be 1 teaspoon of salt, kosher salt, and then 2 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar. So this is really important. You need to use white distilled, not apple cider or white wine or anything, just regular plain old white distilled. 2. And then you're just gonna bring the whole thing up to a rapid rolling boil, like as if you're boiling pasta or something. You wanna see all the bubbles going crazy. The water is rapidly coming to a boil now, so what I wanna talk about is the vinegar. So some people don't like adding vinegar to this water, but to me, I feel like it's just kind of like a foolproof way to make sure that your eggs will poach nicely, because when you add vinegar, it lowers the pH levels in water so it doesn't become as harsh. So it kind of cooks at a more gentle speed, and that's what you want. That's what poaching is, just kind of like low and slow and kind of gentle. And it also imparts a little bit of flavor to the eggs without being overly vinegary. So, and I think that adds the next layer of flavor to this simple sandwich. As you can see, the bubbles are really rapid. You don't want like a gentle simmer. You want like a real percolating boil. Now at this point, you're just gonna lower it to a simmer. Get your teacups, so just lower the rims and then toss them in at the same time. Now at this point, all you do is just shut off your heat, put the lid on it like this, and then just time it for 4 minutes. So it depends. It could take anywhere between 3.5 to 4.5 minutes. I roughly aim for about 4 minutes. And you'll know, like once you keep doing this, once you practice, you'll see. The first time I made this, I didn't cook it long enough, so then the eggs were super runny and were like messy all over the plate. Second time I made it, they were a little bit too hard, so it's kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. 4 minutes is a good estimation, and you can start to tell. Once you pull it out and you poke it, you'll be able to tell. You'll be like, okay, I think this is firm enough, this is too firm, or this is too mushy. And you'll see. So after 4 minutes, I'll show you what it looks like. 3, 2, 1, okay. 4 minutes exactly. Let's see if it worked. Whoa. They look so cute. They might look like they're stuck together, but just give them a gentle nudge underneath. Try not to pop the yolk at this point. See? Nice and wobbly and wiggly, but work fast at this point because the longer they sit in the water, the more they're gonna cook. So just work fast. So I pulled it out of the water and I'm gonna just drain it on a paper towel lined plate with a slotted spoon, just so the extra moisture comes out of it. There you go. And see, it is a little scraggly and messy, but it's okay because this is made at home with love. So just gonna do that. Place it on top. I'll be honest, there's a good chance that these might be more cooked than the other ones I just pulled out because they were sitting in the water a little longer. Simple as that. And if you're not recording a video like I am, you'll have better luck because you're not going to be talking and wasting time. Perfect. I'm just going to season them with a little salt and pepper on top and then give them a taste. The yolk makes this creamy runny sauce, and the flavors of the goat cheese and the garlic rubbed on that English muffin.
So smooth and creamy.
Everything is so well balanced, and there's like the freshness of the peppery arugula. All you need is a side of fruit, a cup of coffee. For substitutions, there's nothing much to say except for you could probably use sauteed spinach or kale instead of arugula if you want that green factor in there. Also, make it an Eggs Benedict by adding hollandaise sauce on top. Well, I hope you enjoyed spending time with us today and you give this a try. It's perfect for breakfast or brunch or any time of the day. And be sure to check out our behind the scenes of the making of this video. We'll leave a link for you. So remember to push like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. I feel so fancy. Perfect with coffee.
And some tangerines.